Welcome to the next session of finite element analysis. In this session, I am going to discuss about vertical tapered bar. In the previous session, we have already discussed about the horizontal tapered bar. Whatever formulas you have used for horizontal tapered bar, the same formulas will be used for the vertical one as well, except the fact that in vertical bar, a term of weight will come into picture. Analyze the vertical bar given in the figure below. So this is the bar given to me. This total length is marked as 75 mm and this portion at which the load P is acting is given at 25 mm from the top end. So we can divide this bar into either two portions or three portions. Now suppose if I divide into two, it will be 25 and 50. Or if I divide into three, which will be better, it will be 25, 25, 25. It becomes easier to solve. The value of E is given as 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square and the value of this load P is given as 5 kilonewton. The diameter at these two ends are also given. First I will start with converting this tapered bar into a step bar. Now this is the initial line that I have, and I will mark one more. So these are three parts now, each will be of 25 mm. Now I'll start with a point inside. I'll cut through this line and I'll draw here. Again a point inside. I'll cut through a line and draw here. So this is my first step bar that I obtain. Again I'll mark a point inside of the blue line and I'll go straight down. Same way from here, I'll again go straight down. So this is my second step bar that I obtain. And now again I'll mark a point inside. So this is the third step bar that I obtain. Now you can see very easily I have converted a tapered bar into a step bar. This is my first element, second element and third element. Nodes will be marked here. So first node, this will be my second node. Here I'll mark my third node and this will be my fourth node. So I have four nodes, three elements. Now the diameter at these two ends are given. I need to mark a diameter here. This will be DL1. This is my L1 here. My L2 is 25 mm and L3 is also 25 mm. Now I need to mark another diameter here, which will be DL2. The diameter of this first step bar will be D1. For the second step bar it will be D2 and for the third step bar the diameter will be D3. Now next I am going to draw the discretization diagram. So my step 1 is discretization. Now I'll draw the diagram to the left so I can use this space for calculation of the diameters that are required because it is vertical. So this is my first element, second element and third element. It is between node 1, 2, 2, 3 and 3, 4. Now here I will also calculate the values of DL1, which will be D plus capital D minus D upon L into L minus L1. When I substitute, I get this answer as 83.33 mm. You can solve because all the values are known to you. Next I'll calculate D1, which is between capital D and DL1. So it's average of both of them. I get this answer as 96.66 mm. Next I'll go for calculation of DL2, which will be D plus D minus D upon L into L minus L1 plus L2. This is important because its distance DL2 is at a distance of 50 mm from this top end. So I'll have L1 plus L2. When I solve this, I get the answer as 66.667 mm and the answer for D2 will be DL1 plus DL2 by 2, which will be 74.99, which is 75 mm approximately, and D3 is between dl2 and small d. So this answer is 58.33 mm. So I hope you can calculate all of these because the values are given here. Now next I'm going to go for the weight calculation. So I'll write down weight is equal to rho into V. This is a formula which is known to you. Rho is the specific weight and V is the volume. So this is a formula which is already known to you. Now here I'll assume the value of the specific weight rho as 8 into 10 raised to minus 5 Newton per mm cube. This is just a value that I have assumed. When you solve, it is also possible that this particular value is given to you. Now here you need to remember that rho is density in many cases, but here I am using rho for specific weight. So here I will get W is equal to, now rho is the term which I can write it as it is. For volume, I can write it as pi by 4 d square into L. Area into another dimension is also volume. So I am just rearranging this formula. Now I will calculate the weight for element 1, which will be pi by 4 d1 square into L1 into rho. When I solve this, I get the value as 13.199 Newton. For element 2, the weight can be calculated as pi by 4 d2 square into L2 into rho. You'll get the value as 8.835 Newton. L2 is 25 mm. This is something you need to note, and L1 is also 25 mm. Next, I'll go for calculation of W3, which will be pi by 4 d3 square into L3 into rho. L3 is also 25 mm. Just make note of these while calculating, and I got the answer as 5.344 Newton. So these are the values of weight of each element. Now how I'm supposed to use them, I'll tell you as and when I solve the numerical. Next I'll go for step 2, that is development of EME. The equation will be AE upon HE, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Here I'll have U1 U2 raised to E is equal to P1 P2 raised to E plus W1 W2 raised to E. Now here you can see, apart from this equation, this term has been added, which is for weight function. Now I will solve for element 1 first. For element 1, this will be A1 E upon H1, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. U1 U2 raised to 1 is equal to P1 P2 raised to 1 plus W1 W. Okay, now here I will not write W1 W2. Now listen carefully how this weight is adjusted. The weight of this element is W1. It will be adjusted half at this point and half over here. For W2, again I will have half at this point and half by this edge. Same way, W3 is resisted half here and half by this edge. So this is how it is going to be resisted. So when I talk about element 1, I will be writing this as W1 by 2 and W1 by 2. Here raised to 1 is not required. I'll just write these two terms as W1 by 2 and W1 by 2. You can just note H1 is nothing but L1 in this question. So when you substitute, this value is 10 raised to 3 outside. I get 52796.6. Here I have U1 U2 raised to 1 is equal to P1 P2 raised to 1 plus W1 by 2 W1 by. Element 1 is between node 1 2. So I'll write here 1 2 1 2. Next I'll go for element 2. This will be A2 E upon H2, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. U1 U2 raised to 2 is equal to P1 P2 raised to 2 plus here I'll have W2 by 2 and W2 by 2. When I solve this, I get a 10 raised to 3 common. I get 35333.5. Element 2 is between node 2, 3. Next I'll solve for element 3. This will be A3 E upon H3, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, U1 U2 raised to 3 is equal to P1 P2 raised to 3 plus W3 by 2 and W3 by 2. When I solve this, I get a 10 raised to 3 common, and this value is element 3 is between node 3, 4. Next I'll go to step 3, development of GME. I have a 10 raised to 3 common. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I'll have U1, U2, U3, U4 is equal to P1, P2, P3, P4 plus. Now this bracket is square, so I'll leave it till this. Now here I'll fill up this first, then I'll get back to this matrix again. My first element was between 1, 2, 1, 2 and the value was 52796.6. So I'll write here next element 2 is between node 2, 3, 2, 3. The value is 35333.5. So I'll write here 2, 3, 2, 3 plus 35333.5 minus 35333.5 minus 35333.5. Last element is between 3, 4. So here is 3, 4, 3, 4. So I'll add here 21377.8 . Rest of the elements are 0. Now I'll be writing this one. If you look at this, this is my first node. Here you can see at the first position there is only W1 by 2. So I will be writing only W1 by 2 over here, which is resisted by the first element. When I talk about the second element, it is resisting W1 by 2 as you can see over here, and here also I can see W2 by 2. So at second node I'll have W1 plus W2 by 2. At node 3 I will have W2 by 2 and W3 by 2. So here I'll write down W2 plus W3 by 2, and node 4 has only W3 by 2. So here I'll write down W3 by 2. So these are the values that I have got. Next I'll go for boundary conditions. The variables are U1, U2, U3, U4, and I have P1, P2, P3, P4. W is not an unknown because I have already calculated the value of W1, W2 and W3. So these are the only unknown. Now when I look at the question, my node 1 is fixed. So U1 will be 0. I'll write node 1 is fixed. Since this is 0, here I'll have a question mark. At node 2, I can see there is a load P of 5 kilonewton. So here I'll write down P2 is 5 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. So here I should write a question mark. Next, if you look at third and fourth node, there is no load given. So what I can do is I will assume these value as 0 so that I can put up a question mark here, because at node 2 if you apply a load, obviously there will be an elongation at node 2, 3 and 4. So I should calculate the displacement of these nodes, and these two, when I assume 0, I'll write here it is balancing of secondary variables. I got u1 as 0. When I get back to this matrix, I'll write down u1 is 0. First row, first column to be neglected for some time. I'll be using these equations for calculating value of u2, u3, u4, and finally I'll get back to P1 and calculate its value. Now I have a 10 raised to 3 common. I get 88130.1. This is the value of load. I will add here the value of weight. Now I need to calculate W1 plus W2 by 2, W2 plus W3 by 2 and W3 by 2, that is half. Just find average, average and half over here. So when I calculate them, I get this value as 11.017, 7.089 and 2.672. Now I am going to form the equations from here. So I will have a 10 raised to 3 common. Then this term is multiplied with u2. So 88130.1 u2 minus 35333.5 u3, and this is 0, is equal to 5 into 10 raised to 3 plus 11.017. Next equation will be minus 35333.5 u2 plus 56711.3 u3 minus 21377.8 u4 is equal to, this is 0. So I only have 7.089 on the other side. And for the last one, here do not cancel out 10 raised to 3 directly. These two terms are in addition. So you cannot directly cancel out this 10 raised to 3, or else I will have to remove 10 raised to 3 from here and then cancel out. But that's not required, because anyways I am going to use the calculator. This is my third equation. When I solve these three equations, I get the value of u2 as 9.5096 into 10 raised to minus 5 mm, u3 as 9.5373 into 10 raised to minus 5 mm, and u4 as 9.549785 mm. Here there is a 10 raised to minus 5. So these are the values that I obtained. Next I will revisit this equation of P1. The first term is 0, second term I will multiply with u2, and these three terms are again 0, is equal to P1 into 10 raised to 3 plus W1 by 2. So the equation becomes minus 52796.6 into 10 raised to 3 u2 is equal to P1 into 10 raised to 3 plus 6.599. When I solve this, I get the value of P1 as minus 5.0273 kilonewton. Next I will go for my check step. Summation of load in x direction should be 0. P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus P4 is equal to 5.0273 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5. When I add this, I get minus 0.0273 kilonewton, which is approximately 0. Hence I have tallied or checked my solution to be correct. Last, I'll go for stress calculations. The formula of sigma remains the same, E upon He minus 1 1 U1 U2 raised to E. There is no change in formula. So I'll just give you the answers. Sigma 1 is 0.76 Newton per mm square. This will be tensile. Sigma 2 I obtain as 2.24 into 10 raised to minus 3 Newton per mm square. This is also tensile, positive. Sigma 3 I obtain as 9.6 into 10 raised to minus 4 Newton per mm square. Again positive because the body is subjected to tensile forces only. So with this I end the session. I hope you have understood the numerical. If you have any doubt, please write to me in the comment section. See you in the next session. Thank you.